here's Kevin Winter.
And we welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Sports Lab presented by Rally House here on WRUF 98.1 FM, 850 AM. Already had my first oopsie. Justin Baxley's alongside. Had an oopsie, meant to put in a new open today. I was hoping to put in Jim Nantz, and Jim Nantz saying, hello, friends. Because Justin and I, along with AJ Sheridan, when he gets out of his meeting, Justin and AJ, if you do not know, on our YouTube account, WRUF, home of the Gators, they host the Three Putt Podcast. Good name, by the way.
I mean, you came up with it. So
I did come up with it.
I'm glad you enjoy your own name.
I do. But for the next hour today, everyone, we are going to make this day a little bit of a specialty show. Justin and I will kickstart it. AJ will be along. We are talking nothing but Masters Golf Tournament for 1 hour. Getman and Gitman, this is not meant for children. This is meant for the old folk and those of us who love golf who are out there. Your phone calls are welcome, but today we are doing golf only. Justin Baxley, you have been to the Masters.
I have. Yeah, I was there in 2019, which, folks, I mean, everybody remembers that one. It might be the last time you'll ever see Tiger Woods win a major.
How about a golf tournament in general?
Did he win the Zozo right after that?
He might have. But I don't count that one. That was in Japan.
We don't have to count it. That's fine. It's the last big golf tournament that we may ever see Tiger Woods win. And that reality becomes more and more clear as we move through.
Well, so it's interesting you bring up Tiger. This is the first Masters since 1994 where there is not only no Tiger, but there's not either Phil Mickelson or Tiger. Yeah. So for the first time since 1994, neither Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson will be competing in the Masters Golf Tournament. How old were you?
Kevin, I wasn't born. Wasn't born until 94, November of 94. I have not been on this earth and not had Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson as a part of this golf tournament. It is honestly insane to think about that these two guys have dominated Augusta for the better part of 32 some odd years at this point, and they've given us so many moments. I mean, you think about it, you couldn't tell the story of Augusta National without those two guys.
No, you can't, whether it's Phil choking at times or whether it's Tiger and just his hello to the world after he did the Hello World in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And that was back in 96, I believe. And then in 97, he wins the Masters by 12 strokes.
And then they had to Tiger-proof the course.
And they had to Tiger-proof a golf course because he was the only one who was hitting it that far. Now, today's day and age of golf, everyone does. But and I wrote down off the top, Justin Baxley is in the studio. Kevin Winter with you. We are talking about the Masters Golf Tournament. Look, when AJ gets in, the three of us are going to go through. We will give you our picks. We'll tell you our stories. If you guys want to get involved, give us a dark horse or give us your picks to win the Masters. You can play the whole game of top 5, top 10. Play it on Hard Rock Bet. I'm sure those of you who love golf, you probably do gamble on it. Feel free to jump aboard. Talk. And here's something else I've learned. A lot of you in this area have had the ability to go to the Masters. I've never been. From the Northeast, I wasn't making a venture down here to go. Also, I was working. Think about it. I'm usually in the NBA playoffs at the time or dealing with Sunday night baseball, Saturday afternoon baseball. Can't get the time off. Well, now I've met so many people around here who have gone to the golf course, who have gone to Augusta, who have seen this tournament. So for those of you out there who have gone, whether it's on the YouTube page at WRUF Home of the Gators, or if it's on the phone lines, 392-8255, 392-8255, what is the experience like of going to the Masters Golf Tournament? And that's where I turn to you, Mr. Baxley, because how old were you 7 years ago in 2019?
Yeah, I was
30?
Somewhere in my 20s. I'm 31 now.
All right, so you're
25, 26.
Yeah, you're on the early side of the 20s.
Yeah. Look, another thing too, if you've got great Masters memories, that's the one thing about this golf tournament is everybody has a memory.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people fall in love with the game of golf over this tournament. I can tell you probably 50 memories of growing up watching this, but it's different when you go there.
Why?
Because it's not about watching the golf. It's really not. Like, you can see a decent amount of golf. Don't get me wrong. Like, you're up in bleachers and you're moving around. But that place, truthfully, Kevin, is about hearing. Your sense of being able to hear the roars around that golf course. My favorite part, as I was sitting there on Sunday, Francesco Molinari obviously had the lead for much of the day and until they get to hole 12.
They get to Amen Corner.
He gets to hole 12, dunks it in the water. I believe Tony Finau also dunked it in the water. Tiger played to make par, and he made par. And it turned the entire tournament on its head. But what you saw was you heard roars around the golf course, or you heard groans as things would happen. But the coolest part was the leaderboards change at the various holes around the course. And so there were like mini roars every time the card updated for Tiger Woods to get one stroke ahead.
And they're handheld. They're all hand operated.
Yes, 100%. So you're watching, and so they would put up Francesco Molinari's score, and let's say he's got a birdie. You hear the groan from all around the course. And then they show Tiger's also got a birdie, and everybody erupts. And so you heard the roar when it happened, but then you also hear the roars as it goes around the course. And it really is. It's about taking in that whole thing. I will also say, I'm a big guy. That course is deceptionally heely. You don't realize how many hills there are.
Heels or hills?
Hills. As you're watching on TV. It is an incredible golf course, but my legs were ready to fall off by the fourth day. And I walked that course multiple times. It's the coolest experience if you get to go and cover it, because you have access to this world-class press room where, let me just say, unlimited food and drinks. And I mean unlimited egg salad, unlimited pimento cheese, unlimited ice cream sandwiches.
That place has got to stink by Sunday, man.
Listen.
With all that unlimited egg salad, that place has got to stink by Sunday.
And Kevin, the crazy part is, so you have unlimited all of the grab-and-go stuff, but they also have catered meals inside there too. And so you're getting to eat world-class food, you're getting to drink, and then each individual press area, like your seat, you have a monitor. And you get to control what's on those monitors. So you can look at the leaderboard. You can look at the individual holes. You can do all of the things you do on Masters.com, but you have your own two monitors. And then there's two giant monitors in both sides of the room that you get to watch it. And you're watching it's not the driving range, the practice facility out the window.
That's the other side of the thing. You will hear new terminology this week that you only hear one time a year. You in the gallery are not in the gallery. You are the patrons. You did not hit your ball into the rough. You hit it into the what?
The second cut.
You hit it into the second cut. This is seriously Hannah Getman, our producer today, who's going to be, and Josh Gitman. So we got Getman and Gitman, our producers. They are just rolling their eyes at the old men in the studio talking about the game of golf. But see, this is where what golf has done. Mortal Jim on our YouTube account. I did not care about golf at all until I was late 30s. I think the first Masters I watched was in 2019, the one you attended to, when Tiger won, Justin. Hooked ever since, right? And to give you an example, Hannah Getman, we got that soundbite ready? Here's my boy, our guy, in the press area with Tiger Woods in his green jacket on in 2019.
Justin. Congratulations, Tiger. I know you touched on it a little bit, but it seems like your smile got bigger as the week kind of went on. Can you just talk about how happy you were to be out there and competing, and then obviously to be able to win?
Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good feeling going into this week that I was going to be able to contend in this event.
Yeah, he did. He not only contended, and he won. But this is what the Masters does. It is the Sports Lab presented by Rally House. Kevin Winter with you. Justin Baxley, our social media director, but he's also one half of the Three Putt podcast, which you can watch on our YouTube account at WRUF, home of the Gators. We'll dive deeper into this field in a moment. But this is what the Masters does. So, Baxley, I wrote down on a piece of paper the memories that I would have of the Masters. So I'm 8 years old, watching my father in '86 watch Jack Nicklaus, right? And I'm thinking, I'm mortal Jim, I'm like you. Why the heck am I watching golf? I don't care about golf. I'm 7, 8, 9 years old. I totally get it. And then you watch what happens. Dad gets excited. Dad gets emotional. 1996, I'm now further invested in golf. What happened at the Masters in 1996? Have you read or do you know? You know, right? Mm-hmm. Greg Norman goes to the final round leading by 6. I was a huge Greg Norman fan. And he puked all over his shoes. And I was crestfallen. I really was crestfallen regarding it. And then, of course, you get 97, 01, 02, 05, and 19 with Tiger Woods, the guy from my generation that changed the sports landscape of life of sports, or at least of golf, along with Michael Jordan when you talk sports. They were the icons. Tom Brady for football, Jordan for basketball, Tiger for golf. Tiger made golf cool.
Well, he made it athletic too.
He did.
Right? Like before, you had guys like John Daly out there puffing on, a carton of cigarettes and drinking beer.
Yes.
And like that was what you thought of and then Tiger comes along, and not only is he like a pretty solid athlete, but then he goes further. He starts training with the Navy SEALs. He starts taking this to a different level. It's why he was able to pump the ball further than anybody else, because he was in the best shape. He became an athlete, and now you see guys now. Brooks Koepka looks like a linebacker.
He does.
These are guys that look like they should be playing. Gary Woodland was a D3 basketball player, and his backup plan to basketball, Kevin, to go play D1 golf. Like, it's unreal how athletic these guys are. And so now he completely changed the game, and it's a situation where if you look at it now, these guys are incredibly athletic, could probably play other sports. They're just really, really good at golf.
I'm watching the par 3 contest. If you're watching on our YouTube account at WRUF, home of the Gators, you can actually see my laptop up because I have the par 3 contest, the way the camera is situated. The ability to just flick the ball from that distance as close to the hole as they do on a par 3. And that's I know what they're designed to do. That's the accuracy is impressive. Everyone always had accuracy in golf. Tiger and then this generation brought along the length. Here's something else, and George, I'll get to your call in a moment, 392-8255. Masters golf stories, anything that you're looking forward to regarding this Masters golf tournament, which starts tomorrow at Augusta National. I said yesterday that I consider this, believe it or not, these 4 days, my favorite 4 days on the sports calendar, even ahead, and this is a questionable take. I get it. This is a questionable take. Ahead of round 1 and 2 of the NCAA tournament. Just slightly. They're on par. But I will put, if you tell me for the rest of my life, on a Thursday and Friday, at work, I can only watch one of the 2 events, round 1 and 2 of the NCAA tournament, or the first and second round of the Masters, I am picking the Masters. I am. And I'm not trying to be hot take machine. I will pick the Masters. Also, so will a lot of other people on Twitter. So maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. From Golf Digest, productivity at work drops 97.5% during Masters Week. Study shows. Basically, hey, Tommy, Rob, Randy, you're not going to get work out of Justin and I over the next 2 days. You really aren't. Out to the calls we go with you. 392-8255, 392-8255. George has been hanging on. He's on the Sports Lab presented by Rally House with Justin Baxley and Kevin Winter. Hi, George. How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you? First
Good.
time I've called into your show, Kevin. I appreciate you taking it.
No, not a problem, man.
Hey, you just gave some major kudos to your interest in the Masters with what you just said. I got hands down. That's like I'm amazed. That's pretty good reference. But I was calling just to kind of give you a different perspective on the Masters, and I have a real quick, neat story of being there. So I like to play golf, but I am not a fan. I just don't watch. The only tournament I watch is the Masters. So I'm a very novice fan, so I don't have the appreciation that probably you guys do. But I worked for a company back in '91 that rented a house in Augusta for us to entertain customers throughout the tournament. So I was actually there from Wednesday until Saturday. Mm-hmm. And the practice round, the par 3, is so much fun because those guys are loosey-goosey. They're doing silly stuff. It's really a fun, totally different experience.
They all got their kids out there. It's great.
Yeah, they're doing crazy stuff. I saw Gonzalez. What's the guy that did the saber? He took his golf club and would pretend like it was a sword.
Chichi Rodriguez.
Chichi Rodriguez, thank you. I saw him do that on a par 3. It was just really, really fun stuff. But what I was going to tell you is in '91, I had I didn't have any customers that day. It was on a Thursday, the first day, and it was about noon. So the first foursome coming through, I parked myself on 15, which is a par 5, coming right out of Amon's corner, and Jeff Maggart hit his first shot. He hit his second shot, which the next day I found out was about 210 yards out, and put it in the hole for a double eagle. So I'm looking in my binoculars. I watch him swing it. I'm watching the ball bounce in the hole. And it was really, I don't know how many double eagles there have been, but it's pretty rare to see that happening. But the funny thing was there was nobody really there because it was Thursday, the first foursome coming through, and I looked at these older guys that were sitting next to me, and I said, boys, we might as well go to the house. We're not going to see anything better than that the rest of the weekend.
So here's the interesting, George, that you bring up, right? Think about this is the only tournament that we can all sit here together. Every guy who watches golf can sit here together. We can map out all 18 holes. We know them. We know them because we've seen them, especially on the back 9. Because when I was growing up, and when you were there in '91, you don't get to see the front 9. They didn't air the front 9 on USA.
Make sure we second 9.
Oh yeah, there we go. Right, George. Justin's correcting me. It's the second 9, not the back 9.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but as Justin was just saying, there's an aura there that even not being the avid golf fanatic, that you just feel when you walk that course. And so to your point, what was really cool is being there that Wednesday through Saturday and then Sunday going home and watching it. I knew, just like you're saying, every hole, and even to this day, however many years it is later, almost 30, I still know every one of those holes because I walk the course.
Love it.
But it's almost like a sense of reverence when you walk out there just being on that course. But anyway, you got a bunch of callers. I just wanted to call in and give you my 2 cents.
All right, George, appreciate it. It really is. And I'm glad you brought up reverence. I've heard Marty Smith and others who've gone to the Masters or Augusta National for the first time. The course, it's just there. Like
it's a cathedral to golf.
There you go.
I mean, that's what it is.
So if you have any stories about the Masters, they're open for you. Tell us. But here's what Justin and I are going to do when we get AJ out of his meeting, the other half of the 3 Golf Podcast. We are going to now go through the contenders. Any bets and wagers you might be thinking of making. Justin does this a lot. I used to do this. I am familiar with the game. We will talk about some of the players to be watching out for this week. Your calls. Who do you guys like this week? 392-8255, 392-8255. Is there someone in the top that could finish in the top 10 that you're looking at for an odds? I've got a dark horse winner at 60-1. At 60-1, I have a dark horse winner. We tell you who that is coming up next. He's Justin Baxley. I'm Kevin Winter. A lot of golf, all Masters talk today as the Masters gets underway tomorrow. This is the Sports Lab presented by Rally House here on WRUF.
Georgia. Georgia.
This is the only time in Gainesville
the whole day through
that this song is allowed to be played in Gainesville.
just an old sweet song.
It is the only time of year, Ray,
keeps Georgia on my mind.
It is the only time of year, Ray, that this song is allowed to be played for Gator faithful or inside the city of Gainesville. Kevin Winter with you, Sports Lab, presented by Rally House. We go three wide here. He's Justin Baxley, social media director, but also one half of the Three Putt podcast on WRUF and our YouTube account at WRUF, home of the Gators. Sports Lab alum, AJ Sheridan. He is in-house. He's out of his meeting. You have now caught the good stuff because we're going to start breaking down the Masters. Look, favorite part, just so you can establish it, AJ, he's the other half of the Three Putt podcast, by the way. Favorite part of the Masters for you?
I think it's just being able to sit on your couch for 4 straight days and do nothing. It's kind of like the first weekend of March Madness. You just sit on your couch for 8 hours a day, and you watch the best players in the world get challenged unlike any other week.
You have only one to watch for the rest of your life. You can either watch Thursday, Friday of the NCAA tournament or Thursday, Friday of the Masters. Which one are you
don't
choosing?
get all 4 days of the Masters? Just the first two? Then I'm going to take March Madness.
Well, no. But if you, regarding like we call it the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
But you can only watch either you can watch Saturday, Sunday because you're off. But for the rest of your life, you can only take work off for one of those two events. Which one are you doing?
It's March Madness. It's March Madness.
I'm taking the Masters. I'm taking the Masters.
I'm also taking the Masters.
But it just doesn't have –
I know.
you're not getting the upsets on Thursday and Friday of the Masters like you are the first 2 days of March Madness.
By the way, UMBC isn't going anywhere after round one anyway.
Neither is Vijay Singh when he shoots 6 under on Thursday.
But guess what? I can watch Tiger Woods go out of the tournament in the first day. So this is kind of what we're talking about. 392-8255, 392-8255 for the final half hour and the rest of the show. All golf talk regarding the Masters. I understand some of you just rolled your eyes like our producer, Hannah Getman, and she went, oh, for the love of God. Look, there's something special about this golf tournament, whether it's the concession prices, where even as Hannah Getman just typed to us, nothing sounds more gross to me than a pimento cheese sandwich. I don't care if it's $3. Okay? But guess what? I'm buying one.
You can also order the whole menu for under $80.
It's incredible.
You just need one pimento cheese. That's all you need.
No, one pimento cheese and give me a bunch of egg salad sandwiches. But for under $80, you can order the whole menu.
I think I ate that whole menu like 7 times while I was in Augusta. It was so good.
If you're watching on our YouTube account,
You can tell.
you can tell. All right, go ahead.
I ate like egg salad. The egg salad to me was the superior of the two. But look, I mean, it's when you think about it, yes, it's one of the hardest tickets to get into in all of sports. But once you get in, it's pretty reasonable. You can get a 4-day pass for $540 if you win the lottery. The individual days are like $160. Like it's not. I mean, you pay that to go to a Gator game sometimes, but then you add in that the concessions are $3. You can get a beer for under $7. I mean, it's unreal.
But what are you wearing right now? Because how much are you spending that apparel tent? That's where they get you. You can spend $6 on the food, but you're spending $600 in the apparel tent.
That apparel tent's not unreasonable. I think the shirt was like $30.
Yeah, but if you're there, you're not buying just one.
Oh, no, I spent way too much money. And then because I covered it in 19 and in 20, they canceled it. They gave me the gift shop online that I can order anything I wanted, which was way worse because it got canceled in 2020. So I could order as much as I wanted from the apparel tent, but it was online. It was the worst thing and best thing that's ever happened.
All right,
I bought a poster.
3 wide on the Sports Lab today. Kevin Winter with you. Sports Lab presented by Rally House on WRUF. AJ Sheridan, Justin Baxley, the 3 Putt podcast on our YouTube account at WRUF is in studio with me today. Guys, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Scotty Scheffler is your odds-on favorite at 5-1. John Rahm, glasses Kevin. John Rahm is next at 9-1. Bryson DeChambeau tied with John Rahm at 9-1. Rory McIlroy 12-1. Xander Schauffele 14-1. Ludwig Aberg, who has been flirting near the top 5 of the fit in the last couple of Masters and finishes, he is at 16-1. Matthew Fitzpatrick, Cameron Young 20-1. And then you start going further on down. Of the top, let's call it the top 5 to 10 golfers, do you see our champion this year coming from that group? AJ Sheridan.
It's funny enough because last night I was actually got to play golf yesterday, and then we were sitting there talking about the Masters after. And I do think it will be one of those top guys. That's my opinion. But When was the last time it wasn't? Hideki was maybe the last guy to not be that top tier. You have Danny Willett years ago. We're kind of due for one of those. The Masters is good at that. Just getting a guy you never thought would win a major. It's their only major. They don't win anything else the rest of their career, but they somehow get that one green jacket win. Wouldn't be surprised this week. I think it's going to be one of those top dogs. We'll give our predictions later. Don't be surprised if we get that flyer out of nowhere, though, this week.
Justin?
We're due.
Yeah, I'm also going to say I think it's in that top 10. But look, this feels more wide open than it has the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. You've got Scotty winning it twice. I think Rahm won it, then Rory won it. Those are, I mean, if you really think about it, that if you were building out a current golfer Mount Rushmore, those are 3 of the 4 names that will be up there, right? And so for me, AJ may be right. It may be time that we get somebody outside of that group, and I think there's a plenty of potential options.
Is there the way you mentioned a moment ago, Justin, when AJ was in his meeting before he got in with us, we talked about Tiger. This course got Tiger-proofed, right? Is there someone or golfer, guys, that this course is now more set up for? AJ, you're shaking your head. No, why?
The course is set up for lefties, and I do love lefties this week, but we see it year in and year out. Bryson goes and says it's a par 68. What does the course do to him? This course does not hold back. It'll show its teeth one way or another. We talked about off the air. The wind will be whipping this week. Conditions are perfect. The grounds crew is going to have that place playing as hard as they want come Sunday afternoon.
Justin?
I mean, I guess if you had to pick somebody, it's Scotty Scheffler or John Rahm.
So Scotty's the easy answer, I feel like, all the time. But has Scotty shown the Scotty from the last couple of years? I feel like Scotty got off to a slow start this year.
It's funny enough you say that. If you look at his stats from this year to last year, they are actually better this year. He has 4 rounds over par this year. He had 3 last year, so only 1 extra round over par. But he now has a win coming into Augusta this year. He already has a win under his belt this year. Last year, he didn't have any wins coming into Augusta, and that used to be kind of his knock, is he doesn't win early in the year, and now He has that win under his belt this year.
392-8255, 392-8255. Questions, comments regarding this year's Masters. Who's your pick? Give us, whether it's top 10, top 5. Open up your Hard Rock Bet account. Check out where the odds are. There are some interesting plays that you can make, including one. I'll give you one that I kind of just came up with for a top 5, a couple of top 5s, a winner, and a top 10. And on the experimental version, I went crazy on the parlay. But just for an example, to see what it would pay out. And there's a massive number. Porter, you're up next here on the Sports Lab, presented by Rally House. AJ Sheridan, Justin Baxley, it's Kevin Winter. How are you, Porter?
Man, I'm doing great. I've got a bunch of things that fit perfectly, so I'm going to talk fast. I hope I don't talk too fast. But anyway, you mentioned how little coverage they had. They didn't used to see the front 9.
Correct.
Well, apparently, the Masters only allowed X minutes of advertising on the television. That's what caused it. You could televise as much as you want, but it was their event, and they didn't want it. So they only televised, I think, 2.5 hours on Thursday, Friday, and 3.5 on Saturday, Sunday.
So hang on, Porter. You're right on the actual. You're right on. They only allowed X amount of commercials. But the Masters also told back in the day, it was USA Network, still part of the CBS family, you are not showing it. You're not showing the front 9. So it was tied together. But yes, it was tied together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I heard that's why they didn't.
No.
One of my to tie to my sales rep back in the day, his family lived right on the fairway, and every year they would go stay at the church, and the CBS crew, the main crew, Jim Nance and those guys, would stay at their house. So anyway, I got to go up there in 2004 for Thursday and Friday rounds.
Love it.
And I'd never been there, and not allowed to take cameras and this, that, and the other. Well, you mentioned the tickets. The toughest ticket is Sunday, obviously. The second toughest is the Tuesday, the practice round. Everybody wants to go. They allow cameras in there at the end, and it's a lot, as they say, a lot more, loose and interacting, that kind of thing. So anyway, I knew they didn't allow cameras. I thought that was because of the noise and people in the backswing taking pictures, that kind of thing. So we went Thursday, and to tie it in with your roar of the crowd, we were going to go watch Chris DeMarco was teeing off early. So he said, yeah, sure, we'll walk around with them. But he recommended going to the gift shop because it'll be too crowded later. And he said, you'll be in there forever. So I said, okay. So we then got some things. We walked them back to the car. The point in that is we're walking to catch up with DeMarco's group, and we hear this roar. And I asked him, is that a hole-in-one? He goes, I don't think it was quite loud enough for a hole-in-one. It's probably a really close shot on 6, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
Well, as it was, there weren't as many people there yet. It was a hole-in-one by Chris DeMarco.
Oops, you missed it, Porter.
We missed it, exactly.
All right.
Anyway,
Make it quick.
I was like, I didn't know if they had metal detectors or whatever. So the next day, I took my little Mustang camera. It's a folding camera. It doesn't make any noise for the Friday. I wasn't trying to cheat. I didn't know it was because of, they wanted to protect their image, that kind of thing. So this happened to be, I didn't know at the time, Arnold Palmer's last competitive round. And on the par 4, the first of the 3 of him in corner, I walked over, and as he's walking right by me, and took a picture of him. Very discreetly, and he's wearing that kind of lavenderish shirt, the one that he put his foot up on. So I've still got that, and that's literally what I'm doing right now, is looking for my Mustang camera to get that.
Attaboy. All right, Porter, you be well.
Go get it.
You got it. 392-8255, 392-8255.
Hopefully Augusta doesn't listen to this. Otherwise, they will find him.
They will. They'll track him down. Luke, you're up next in the Sports Lab, presented by Rally House. Kevin Winter, Justin Baxley, AJ Sheridan. We're talking the 2026 Masters. Hi, Luke. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. I just want to ask you guys, it feels like the last handful of years we've gotten Scotty, we got Rory, we got Rombo. Are we due for another kind of random winner, kind of like a 2019 Hideki Matsuyama? And also, why is it Akshay Bhatia tournament to lose?
Okay. See, now, Luke, first off, AJ said the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's almost like you heard me say that here recently.
AJ said the exact same thing. Now, why is it Akshay Bhatia's tournament to lose? I mentioned a moment ago, Luke, I have a 60-1 long shot that if I'm people out there, you might want to put a flyer and a little shekels on Akshay Bhatia. I absolutely would do that because I think this course sets up well, and I'm a huge fan of Akshay Bhatia.
And he's finally proven he can win in some of the big events. His win at Bay Hill this year. The only reason that it is not his tournament to lose, his best major finish was T30 at the Open. His best Masters finish was T42. So he's still got to prove it a little bit in these 4 big ones.
All right, Luke. You good? All right. See you. Bye. You go. All right, 392-8255, 392-8255. We start talking dark horses coming up next. I want you guys to come up with someone a little further on down the line. Let's also discuss what part of Augusta can bite the golfers the most. Let's talk about that because I think it's a huge impact when it comes to the Masters Golf Tournament. AJ Sheridan, Justin Baxley, Kevin Winter with you. We go 3 wide here on the Sports Lab presented by Rally House. Talking golf with you on the Sports Lab on WRUF. Yeah, there'll be Gator baseball coming up this weekend. Jeff and Steve will be on the road in Athens. There's also the Masters Golf Tournament. Hello, friends. Alongside Justin Baxley and AJ Sheridan, I'm Kevin Winter. We're talking the 2026 Masters Golf Tournament. We ripped through some of the odds on favorites. I can tell you at the Las Vegas Superbook, the most money is coming in on Ludwig Aberg, Scotty Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele. The most tickets are coming in on Ludwig Aberg, Bryson DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele. Tickets are not really big on Scotty. Money is big on Scotty as we kind of start breaking down. Baxley, you have a by the way, Justin and AJ are part of the 3-Putt podcast. We'll phrase it. They are the 3-Putt podcast that you get on our WRUF YouTube account. Any questions, chime in, 392-8255, 392-8255. Justin, you have you got an Excel sheet.
Yeah.
AJ is probably the best way to say it. You broke down some numbers if you're looking to try to figure out who's going to win this year's event.
Yeah, so real quick on the money stuff, you got to think that some of that Scotty money may have been stuff because these futures for the Masters specifically open a lot earlier than any other golf tournament. And so I'm wondering if a lot of that money came in last year or 6 months ago. And so that's where I'm wondering on that. But real quick, I took there's a lot of places, a lot of really great publications out there, Golf Digest, CBS Sportsline, Dan Rappaport over at Scratch Golf. I took 5 of the places that have ranked the field 1 through 91. Mm-hmm. I took about the top, 30-ish golfers. I think that's about right. And broke down where each place had them ranked, where they thought they would finish. And then I averaged that out. And so by average, John Rahm was averaged second overall, but which would make him the number 1 guy on as the prohibitive favorite according to these places average-wise. Some of the big names there, Scotty is the second best at 2.8. And then it drops down to Xander at 4.8, Ludwig at 5.2, Fitzpatrick at 5.4, and Bryson at 5.4. But I use this to kind of start maybe identifying some of the dark horses. Some of the guys in that 13 to 25 range that, have a little longer odds. You mentioned a 60 to 1 and Akshay. There's a couple other guys in that 60 to 1 range. Jacob Bridgman is one that really stands out to me.
Who?
Exactly. You probably didn't know him before this season, but if you were watching Pebble, he got to experience Pebble Beach from the beach. Bounced it off a rock and basically melted down on Sunday, and Colin Morikawa won the tournament. But he came back at Riviera the very next week and won. Not a lot of guys can be in a position to win a signature event after crumbling at a signature event the week before, and that's exactly what Bridgman did.
By the way, Bridgman is 60 to 1 to win this tournament.
And he also beat out Rory McIlroy in that Genesis tournament. It's not like he was just beating out your average golfer.
Yeah, he stood toe-to-toe. Very reminiscent of what we saw with J.J. Spawn a year ago when he stood toe-to-toe with Rory at the Players. No, he didn't win the Masters, but J.J. Spawn ended up winning the U.S. Open last year, and so you get to maybe see a little glimpse of what Jacob Bridgman can do. However, there are some stats that are not necessarily on his side. We haven't had a debutante. Yes, we're using the word debutante because, of course, the Masters has its
definition?
Here's the only reason I know. I asked him. Debutante, first-time Masters starter.
There you go.
Yep. Jacob Bridgman, first time in the Masters. Haven't had one of those since I believe it was Fuzzy Zeller back in the 70s. I don't know. I wasn't alive. Couldn't tell you.
If it was the early 70s, I wasn't alive.
I think
Late
it was like
70s,
78.
I was. I was one.
And so Bridgman doesn't have that on his side. Same with Chris Gotterup, who with the average is about 16th. So those two are some names to watch. And then the other two guys that I'm really heavy on, Minwoo Lee. I just love his game. He's playing about as well as he has in his career. And then the guy, Robert McIntyre. Our boy AJ Sheridan said he loves lefties this week. If you can just ignore the shot on 18.
All right, so I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I'm watching this past weekend in San Antonio, and McIntyre is teeing off on a par 5 down 1, needs a birdie to force a playoff with JJ. And he made Phil Mickelson's shot on 18 and years back at the U.S. Open look like a good shot.
Which one? Shinnecock or
both?
It was his second shot. It was his second shot on that par 5.
This was
he
his
smashed
second.
his drive.
Oh, he smashed his drive, but he tries to cut a 3-wood, and he hooked the snot out of it, and it's into a construction site.
And he wasn't even going for the green. That hole was playing 700 yards on Sunday with the wind, but he has experience also. He won the Scottish Open last year in tough conditions. He's proven that he can win. I don't think that was necessarily what he does every time, where Oberg, I think him on Sundays is who I'm more scared of. You mentioned a lot of money coming in on him. He's this generation's Ricky Fowler.
Okay, so that was my question with Aberg. Wait, hang on. Well,
I have a reason for it.
All right, why?
The reason's going to sound weird, but if you go look at his Sunday stats, it does look like Ricky Fowler. He's always in the top 5s, always in the top 10s. But the reason for it, my favorite caddy on tour, Joe Scavern, was on Ricky Fowler's bag all those years where he would be there, top 5 in all the majors, but couldn't win the majors. He's also on Ludwig Oberg's bag, who has that one big win at the Genesis. And besides that, he's going to be at the top of the leaderboard, but on a Sunday, are you ever really worried for him? I'm not.
Well, so here's the thing when it comes to Aberg, because you were in contention a couple of years ago, was a second place finish. Last year, you were flirting, and then you kind of falter down the stretch.
Last week.
The
Players. You want to talk about a choke. Look at what he did at the Players.
All right, so all that, how does that then come into play? I mean, and I go back to, there was a line in the Tiger documentary from Armin Katayan. Armin Katayan famously was told by this young generation, I can't wait to be in the final round going head-to-head with Tiger on a Sunday in a major tournament. And Armin Katayan, deadpan, guy's never sworn in his life, looks into the camera and goes, the F you do. Like, you're going to get eaten alive. And I feel like there's a portion of some of these golfers who come up short. It lingers. Now, if a guy like Scotty Scheffler is mashing on the gas, you're not catching them.
You see that name on the leaderboard coming up behind you, too.
Because that's the new one.
Brooks Koepka used to say when he was winning all those majors, it felt like he was winning every major a few years ago. He said, you can count out 50% of the field right away just because it's a major tournament. They don't have what it takes to win in those big moments.
And that's a gutsy thing to say because you usually don't like trash talking your fellow competitors like that.
But he was backing it up, though, too.
Absolutely.
He doesn't care what anyone thinks.
What's more important this week? And I ask it in this way. I feel like ball placement around a course like Augusta, it is not the longest in the world, but you need to place. This is not stand on the tee box and wail away and leave yourself not a good second shot or approach to the green. Justin, you've been there. How important is position, ball position?
I would say that it's more about, it's not about hitting the ball in the right place. It's about missing in the right place. Tiger Woods has talked about that for a very long time. The second cut there, if you're keeping up with it, the rough. The second cut there is not as punitive as a U.S. Open or anything. However, you have to know where you can miss on this golf course. Because if you put yourself in a position, you can put yourself in a great spot theoretically, but it may not play to the hole as well as if you hit it into the second cut. It allows you to take some spin off or add spin. There's just a lot of places where you know where to miss, and that's why it's hard for a debutante to win at this golf course because you have to have the additional course knowledge. A guy like Patrick Reed, who went to Augusta State and has been around that course. It's why he is I think it's 4 of the last 5 years, has finished T12 or better, including third last year. And if he hadn't missed a putt, he might have been in that playoff with Rory and has won this golf course. He's a guy who knows this golf course like the back of his hand. He's a guy I might look at this week because he understands that has a lot more to do with bombing it down the fairway.
He's 40-1 to win.
You got to be below the hole. Bryson learned the hard way. You can't just smash your way around this place. You got to pick your parts around it.
Patrick Reed, top 5, 6-1, plus 600. There's a massive drop-off between, think about it. I mean, I understand everyone, when you're in the plus 5, I mean, Scotty's plus 140 to finish T5. Patrick Reed to finish T5 is only 6-1.
There's a reason for it.
There's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. Kevin Winter with you. AJ Sheridan, Justin Baxley. We're finishing up our final thoughts here on the 2026 Masters. If you guys were to then start placing some of your bets in some of whether it's top 10, top 5, top 20, who is aside from the normal ones that we're looking at, whether it's Rahm, DeChambeau, Xander, and Scotty. We'll get to our winners in a moment. Who are some other ones at some decent odds that those driving around listening may want to throw a few shekels on?
You know my answer. I've came into your office every day this week and told you, Justin, Matt McCarty, a lefty. He only has one start at Augusta. He's not. There's something about him. This is like Matt McCarty, the lefty. I'm big on all the lefties this week. Robert McIntyre, Akshay Bhatia. Matt McCarty is my flyer, very sleeper pick this week. I like him top 30, top 20, top 10.
Wow, I like it. I'll throw one out for first round top 10 or first round leader. Justin Rose. He's done this like 5 times now in his career. Dude is a first round merchant at Augusta. He might go and shoot 9 under. Now, he may not win the tournament, but he might be a good one to look at there. As far as your top 30, top 20 names, I really like Corey Connors as somebody in that top 20. That dude is a really, really good one. And then Jordan Spieth. I know that, AJ kind of clicked on it on my sheet. Jordan Spieth in that top 20, and he could make some noise. Look, that guy, when he was on, before Augusta's number 12 ruined his entire career, it felt like, was on projection to be the Scotty Scheffler of this generation. So I'd look at him.
He's playing good this year, too. Lots of top 20s, lots of top 30s.
Then there's a couple names that I'll throw out there that I might throw a little bit on. Matt Fitzpatrick and Cam Young.
Took my picks.
Those are the two that I at least consider as they're not necessarily in the favorite range of like the top 4 or 5, but they're right outside of it in that second tier of golfers. Those are the two guys. If you want to throw something on, those are good.
All right. Real quick, before we get to the winners, I like my favorite prop of the tournament is first round top 10. I have Shane Lowry and Akshay Bhatia, first round top 10. That's kind of if you think someone's going to stay hot for one day and then kind of melt down, all right, that's where you play.
Let's get to our winners. Who are we going with, guys?
So I have Cam Young since January at 56-1. I think he's now down to like 32-1. So that's a pick that I've had for a few months now. But my buddy asked me today, who you got winning Augusta? I said they have 2 jackets made already for Xander Schauffele and Matthew Fitzpatrick. It's just a matter of who wants to pick it up Sunday afternoon. One of those 2 will be slipping on the green jacket on Sunday. Cam Young's that 2B.
Justin Baxley?
I like it. Would have gone Xander, but I think with you picking him, I'll go different. This is probably a cop-out, but give me John Rahm. Dude's playing better golf than people realize. I know there's not a lot of eyes on Live Golf right now, but John Rahm has the data golf backing him. He looks like the best player in the world, and he's won at Augusta before, and I'm telling you, that experience at Augusta means so much. Give me John Rahm.
I will pick I have Xander, and then I think the other one would be Bryson.
I was going to say, you didn't mention Bryson DeChambeau. John Rahm is playing great on the Live Tour. I do watch a lot of Live Golf. Bryson has beat him out the last 2 events.
Yes.
So Bryson is a name. He proved it last year. He can be there on Sunday. This year is it is time to finally finish it off.
All right. We are back I am back on Friday. Round 1 will be in the books. You guys doing a podcast before this thing tips off, or are we just going to post the show?
We'll post this show.
We'll post this show as the podcast. For AJ Sheridan, Justin Baxley, I'm Kevin Winter. Enjoy the Masters. The Sports Lab continues. Bill Garay, who you on with? Nate? Who? Lance. You and Lance. Lance here? I can't hear a damn thing. It's okay. We're good. Check my hearing. I'm old. Bill Garay and Lance Williams are next. Enjoy the Masters, everyone. AJ Baxley. It's been a lot of fun. This is the Sports Lab presented on Rally House on WRUF.
WRUF Sports Center.
I'm Logan Peterson. Gators baseball completed the series sweep against FSU last night. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan was pleased with the 4-3 road victory.
We needed to scrap out a win.